Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing a Little Mermaid themed nail design. We're also breaking out my airbrush. I've had this airbrush for quite some time, but I haven't used it. So currently on the screen I am running through the products I'll be using, which is a 3D nail tips that I've gotten for quite some time ago, the Airbrush neutrals in medium, and now I am sizing out my tips. This is my first time using these tips, even though I've probably had them for over about a year now or longer. So I was just sizing them out, and the sizes are different. Here you'd wear like a 4, 9, 10, something like that, or 1 through 15. These are in, if I'm not mistaken, millimeters, excuse me. And so I had to kind of take all the tips out and size them from there. And then I was only using 3 of the mermaid printed tips and 2 of the regular tips. And then my plan from there was to just cut them down to that size because I didn't want them that long. Also, when there's not a lot of information on these tips, but a popular YouTuber tried them out and they bend. And I also noticed that when I was doing the application, underneath the lamp, they were a little bendy. They're 3D printed tips, so that might have something to do with it. I also had an issue where it kind of like chipped off the thumb. But I also, like I said, I modified mine. I don't know if they're meant to be cut. Anytime you modify a product, things can go awry. So that could have been it. So now I am applying the tips. I'm etching them. First I was trying to chemically etch them, but then I find that was not an effective method, being that I never really used these tips before. So I went ahead and used my e-file for the 3D tips. From here, I just applied the tips as usual. I didn't have any issues getting them on at all. And this particular design was supposed to go on for the Little Mermaid that was coming out at that time. Goes to show how long I've had this video. But yeah, that was the inspiration for this design. So I'm just prepping, priming, getting my application on, and then I'll play some music and I'll pop back in. So I went ahead, before I started my application process of the airbrush, I went ahead and put on a, what's it called, latex layer around the spots I didn't want to have to rub off. And then I used gel polish instead of airbrush paint. It just really depends on what you find easier to use. I got the airbrush gel color from Airbrush. I believe there is some other brand, and I believe Amazon also sells airbrush gel polish, but I haven't tried those out yet. Also, I used regular gel polish, and they have a dilution solution, which I'm almost sure is just alcohol. But they have a dilution solution, and I use that too. You'll see that later on in the video. I want to tell you guys that I would not take this tutorial as a tutorial on how to use the airbrush. I myself is also still getting familiar with using it. So that's just something to keep in mind. So if you see me doing something like, what the heck is she doing? That is why. Now, as the video progresses, I do get better at it. This set took me three business days to complete. And that's just because I was rushing the first night to go to a concert. And yeah, I couldn't finish them. And then I had work, and then I had something else, and it just ended up going on and on and on. So because of all that I had going on, this set just took forever. So you'll probably see that variation a little bit. So all this was completed like the first night, and then I had to come back, and then I finished one hand. And then went back again, was able to finish the other hand. It just took me a while. I think just because I wasn't familiar with the airbrush, and then when I had it on, like I said, the nail had cracked, my thumb had cracked, and I had to repair it and all of that junk. So it took a minute. It took a minute before I think if I had really sat down one day with enough time, I would have been able to complete it. That's my fiance hopping in because I was complaining that the gel polish was messing with my application or the way that it looked, and he was like, no, scrub it in there. I was like, okay, sir. So yeah, so here I am again. I am kind of re-prepping those neutral tips and taking out some lint-free wipes. I could have just used a paper towel, but that's what's on my nail table, so that's what I used. And I used that to kind of spray to see what color I'm getting, because I know I was going to be playing around with the color. Also, I noticed the last time I sprayed, it kind of got behind my nails. So that's why you see me reapplying everything, because this is now another day. Yeah, I did it to myself. Also, because I was doing this another day, and I know that there was probably oils on my hands, I wanted to go ahead and cleanse them. And I did with a little bit of alcohol or prep. And then I went ahead and used protein bond on them so that I knew that the gel polish would stick to it, because I didn't want to bulk it up with a base coat. So I used some protein bond to kind of sandwich in those layers, if that makes any sense. So here I just want to do like a dark blue ombre. Like I said, not super familiar with the airbrush, and I kept having to go back and wipe it, and I got it all over my hands, but the set got done. So I just needed to learn to use it better. Yeah, so I'm going to stop talking. I'm gonna pop back out again and let you guys kind of watch my application. If you have any questions, let me know, and put it below in the comments of any products I use, how much anything costs, anything like that. Just ask me, and I have no problem sharing that information. So this is how the set turned out. I added some extra embellishments, and then here's the final clip. I thank you guys so much for watching and for all your support.